What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to some more Paragon patch notes. This is the V45 patch notes, the one that we've been waiting for a very long time. It was actually delayed to this week and then delayed by a day, but they finally got it out. So let's take a look at what's to come. It's a new year, and with that comes a fresh update in version 45. Play the newest hero adjustments, don new armor with the Mountain Forge Terra skin, and practice the latest card changes, reworks in this patch, available now. Mountain Forge Terra withstand the breath of 1,000 dragons with the new Mountain Forge Terra skin. That's actually a really nice skin. Not that I'm going to be buying this skin. I don't think I'm going to be buying anything in Paragon until I'm certain that they're continuing development, because I don't want to invest money in something that is going to end potentially. Well, even though I doubt it, I'm playing on the safe side. They've now added jump pad animation for all heroes, so heroes that didn't have one before now have one. That includes Shimby, and I'm not really too sure of the others. Aurora, Frozen Simulacrum. Aurora is now untargetable until she lands. Hoarfrost, damage increased and a scaling increased as well. I think I like that because I felt like Aurora, she kind of got nerfed too much and she wasn't really as good as a lot of the other offlaners. So I feel like she definitely needed some buffs, and I like this. Countess, her Feast, which is her ultimate. Countess will now deal damage to heroes that are unstoppable if they are near Countess after the initial stun. This actually only affects Terra, I think, because Terra is the only hero that currently has an ability that can make her unstoppable. Crunch, I think he was in a great spot. I don't think he really needed any work. He is a good jungler, so I'm glad that they haven't done anything to Crunch. Deca has got damage increased on her slow bubble and scaling increase. It's kind of insane, 391 damage with a scaling increase as well. So she's doing a lot of damage. Carry Deca anyone? I'm not too sure, but it's obvious to see that Paragon want their supports to have a big impact, not just in the way of CC, but also in damage. So it's an interesting route they've taken. You can argue for and against. You can say, well, support shouldn't really do that much damage. They should just be there to use their kit, utility, CC, stuff like that. But on the other hand, you could say, well, supports need to feel impactful, not just only from their stuns. And when you give everyone a stun, then you kind of have to do something that sets supports apart as well. Drongo definitely needed some buffs, so I'm glad that they've increased his rad rounds damage. His scaling has also been increased. I like that. Drongo, definitely one of the weakest carries in the game, so it's nice to see that he's got at least some buffs. I'm not sure whether this makes him viable, but it's nice to see. It's a starting point, at least, if anything. Gideon, I think he was in a perfect spot. Nothing really needed there, so I'm glad Epic haven't touched that. Grace down, cooldown increased. Okay, I like the 20 seconds on the level 3. That's decent. Health regen increased, health regen per level decreased. So some nerfs from Greystone. Not too much to say about Greystone. I don't really play him too much. He's kind of a one-dimensional hero in that his kit's very bland and boring, but he serves a purpose that he brings people who are new into the game. He's a kind of hand-holding hero. You get kind of two chances. You can mess up once and then you get your ultimate and then you get a second chance. So I like it. Grim EXE, displacement, blast damage increased, scaling increased. I think that's nice. They had to do something with Grim because, again, he wasn't a top tier carry pick like Wraith, Revenant, and Sparrow. Iggy and Scorch, I think Iggy and Scorch is a difficult one to balance, but I think he was fine where he is. Not many people use him, which is perfect for me. But I think a good Iggy and Scorch player, one that controls objectives, can definitely be a threat to the enemy team. Kwang, Light of Heavens, armor granted decreased from across the board, so I like that. I think his Light of Heavens is really good ability, but it kind of makes him too tanky when building into damage, so I kind of like this change. Lieutenant Bellica's fine. Muriel, cooldown increased from 7 seconds at all levels to 10, 9, 8, and 7. Serenity, slow duration decreased from 3 seconds to 2.5 seconds. Cooldown increased from 9 seconds at all levels to 12, 11, 10, 9. So they basically just increased the cooldown, so Muriel's damage output isn't as much, and her shielding isn't as much at earlier levels. Even like late game, it's kind of the same as what it is. But early game, she can be a real threat, and I feel like if you don't take Muriel, it's kind of like you lose the lane if the enemy have a Muriel. Narbash, Thunk, damage increased. Okay, I mean, like I said, I feel like Epic want to make supports a bit more potent when it comes to damage. Energy Lance, again, you can see damage increase. So it's kind of across the board, across all supports, apart from Muriel, who already does a lot of damage. They've kind of buffed all the damage to see, okay, is this where we want supports to be, doing damage and also being able to use their kit and stuff like that. Rampage, Rumble, damage decreased, scaling decreased, enrage, cooldown increased, and duration decreased. So nerfs across the board for Rampage, but he's still a great pick. I don't think there's been a time where Rampage hasn't been a good pick. Revenant, Hellfire rounds no longer counts as an ability casted in regards to card interactions. Okay, that's fine. Richter, Electrocute mana cost decrease from 1890, 100, 110 to 65, 70, 75, 80. I think Richter's a strong hero in the off lane, or solo lane as it's called now. I don't think this is a big change, but the early game mana cost decrease is pretty nice. Sparrow, basic attack damage decreased from 50 to 45.9. Base attack damage per level decreased 3.4 to 3.2. So that's a nerf across the board for Sparrow. I would have liked to have seen some Wraith nerfs. Honestly, if they were going to nerf Sparrow, I feel like Wraith, top tier pick at the moment, definitely needs some nerfs. But he is a difficult one to balance, so I can understand why there's been no changes. Steel, Bulwark, mana cost decreased from 100 to 40. General balance, base health decreased, base health regen decreased. So nerfs across the board on his health, but his mana cost has been increased on his Bulwark. Terra. Now, Terra was released. She was good for a couple of days, and then people realized, oh, her mana costs are way too high. Her cooldowns are kind of crazy as well. So I hope Epic have addressed this. So Counter Guard now blocks damage and crowd control from cards with CC. Cryo Agent is an exception as the damage and CC are separate instances. Now blocks the slow from Hunter's buff and the damage over time from Stinging Orb. Fixed an issue that was preventing Terra from taking card-related self-damage while Counter Guard was active. The cooldown has been decreased from 12, 10, 8, 6 to 8, 7, 6, 5, and the mana cost decreased from 50 to 25. So that's a huge buff to Terra's Counter Guard. Ruthless Assault. Mana cost decreased from 80, 90, 100, 110 to 60, 65, 70, 75. Again, a huge reduction in mana cost. This is huge for Terra. Deafening Command, mana cost decreased from 90 to 75, will no longer go on cooldown if it is interrupted before dealing damage. Unstoppable Force, cooldown decreased from 120, 110, 100 to 110, 95, 80. So cooldowns across the board. I like it. I want to see Terra become more viable, and I think this is definitely a step in that direction. The Fae, Harvest Nettles. The Fae now gains mana based on how much she spent to cast Harvest Nettles when using the Tireless Reaper card. Wraith. Changed the way we detect when Back It Up fails to teleport its target. Added improved feedback for players when a failure occurs. Wukong has been re-enabled. Fuck's sakes. Staff of Legend fixed an issue causing this ability to be exploitable. Damage decreased and scaling decreased. Basic attack damage decreased. So nerfs across the board for Wukong. Yin, no buffs there, just polish and bug fixing. I would have liked to see some buffs on Yin, but I don't know. I think she's a tricky one to. I think melee, or at least I don't consider Yin a melee. I do consider range, but you know what I mean. Like, she doesn't have the range constantly. I think it's this difficult one to balance. Cards. Now, cards did see a significant change. Some of them have been completely reworked, so it's kind of like receiving some new cards. So I'm kind of excited about this. So, Chaos. Deathcrawler. Fixed an issue where Deathcrawler would no longer function. It's just a bug. Pressure Hunter. Increased bonus damage per vitality differential from 2.5 to 3. That's a huge buff for Pressure Hunter. Fixed an issue where bonus damage is being targeted by damage over time effects. So that's the video I released on Zinx. Thorn Jomi can no longer be activated while stunned. Improved audio feedback, blah, blah, blah. Death. Awaken the Emmerich no longer grants health regen, now grants 240 max health. Fixed an issue where Grinning Spectre could previously be intercepted by non-targeted enemies, causing both enemies to be executed. Sounds like a bug that definitely needed fixing. Nuke Blood Mutant. Fixed an issue where Serath's Heaven's Fury would not proc the passive. Numbing Rogue. Reworked. Siphon Speed. New active. Each of the next 5 basic attack hits within 10 seconds steal 8 attack speed from the enemy heroes. Lasts 5 seconds, costs 50 mana, and a 30-second cooldown. Attack speed debuff aura. Reduced attack speed slow percentage from 20% to 6%. Now I like this. I think aura cards in the game are just generally a bad idea. Yes, you should have some. But I think numbing rogue was kind of insane. You just build it, 2 in agility, 7 in vitality. Now everyone does 20%. Now everyone has a 20% attack speed debuff. Make it active, or reduce it and do what they've done here. I like it. Possess Prykin no longer grants power. That's a good change. I like that. That's a huge nerf to Possess Prykin. Vampiric Blade just improved visual clarity. Warlock's Burden no longer able to be interrupted. Stuns and Silence will no longer automatically cancel and toggle off the card. Wicked Riposte. Reduced mana cost from 75 to 50. Reduced cooldown from 90 seconds to 45. Again, same with Warlock's Burden. Withering Shadow no longer able to be interrupted. Stuns and Silence will no longer automatically cancel and toggle off the card. They've left Sacrificial Link or Silveric Initiate because I feel like you should be able to stun someone. Growth. Coursing Zephyr. Reduced mana cost from 75 to 50. Reduced cooldown from 65 to 35. Flame of Zetchin no longer grants attack speed. Growth Totem. Reduced health gain per minute from 20 to 18. Reduced power gain per minute from 0.75 to 0.65. Huge enough for Growth Totem. Pack Leader. Oh my god. Epic actually buffed it after I asked them to. Increase power from 8 to 9 seconds. Reduce cooldown from 50 seconds to 40 seconds. It's a start. It's a start, okay? Pensive Shaman. Increase health regen per mana restored from 20% to 25%. Increase mana regen from 84% to 100%. Trapper. Reduce slow percentage per hit from 5% to 4%. Reduced attack speed from 32 to 30. Reworked Unbroken Spirit. Reactive regeneration. Heal for 3% max health every 0.5 seconds while affected by hard crowd control. Knowledge. Arcane Dancer. Increased max health from 205 to 255. Black Ice Routine. Increased max health from 240 to 270. Cryo Agent. This is just a bunch of bug fixes. Echelon Soldier. Increased power from 12 to 15. That's nice. Maybe another video coming out with that one. Mana Flow Acolyte. Increased power gain per intellect point from 0.5% to 1%. Huge buff. Use this card a lot. OPD Militia no longer deals bonus damage if the basic attack is blocked. Fixed in. Okay, it doesn't seem like they actually changed any numbers on OPD. More bug fixes. Power Tap can no longer be activated while stunned. Reworked Shipyard Scavenger. Picked Clean is the new passive. After killing an enemy unit, your next basic attack deals 25 bonus damage. Oh, that's nice actually. That could be really good. Because in the duo lane, you could hit the enemy, you could kill an enemy unit and then poke the enemy. I think that could be pretty good on Murdoch because of his passive. Stasis Rune, increased power from 14 to 16, now grants 12 basic armor. Static Trap, fixed an issue where only one trap could be placed at a time. Thaumaturge, increased max mana from 105 to 155. Wetware Virus, increased ability armor from 18 to 24. Order, Domain of Stillness, increased power from 16 to 20. Form of Grubbish, improved consistency and feeling when being knocked back while morphed. Lamplighter, fixed an issue where players could still place wards after unequipping Lamplighter. That's interesting. Gems, this there's like bug fixing there. Same with the shield, spell shield. Same with the UI. Monolith, AI tutorial, bug fixing. Updated names for all jungle minions. Red River buff, Amp Grubbish. Okay, Shadow Grubbish, Swift Grubbish. Healing Grubbish, Gold Grubbish, Section's Guardian, Hunter's Guardian, Sentinel, Elite Sentinel. Interesting. Legendary Velvet Goldbones, Undertone Gideon, Sky Goldbones, Undertone Gideon. That sounds actually quite interesting. Rare Jungle Griffin, Night Terror, Bronze. Okay, so overall, it's a decent patch. There's a lot of performance updates that have taken place in this patch. So we should be seeing a lot better stability, more frames. I do like the patch overall. I think it's a good, it's going to keep the game fresh, at least for another 2-3 weeks, till Epic release another patch. I hope so, at least. And I can't say I am a bit disappointed, but I can't be too disappointed because I know that this patch was being worked on, you know, before the new year. And all of this drama has come out, you know, kind of yesterday and the day before. But I would have liked to have seen Wraith nerfs. I don't think Revenant needed nerfs. I think the route on his ultimate is kind of crazy. I would have liked the route to be like a split second route. Um, Overall, I think I'm happy with the patch. I did make a tweet earlier today, and I was like, I wonder if player retention, which seems to be Epic's biggest concern when it comes to Paragon, I was like, I wonder if player retention is down because players have nothing to strive for. With the introduction of ranked, maybe you give these players a purpose. You know, there's obtainable goals that you can see. Okay, I'm bronze. In a month I want to get to silver, so you grind out the game and you play constantly trying to get to silver or your gold or whatever. You know, you try and get to that next milestone. I feel like with Paragon there isn't really anything like that. Like a lot of people are like, why don't you play on your main? Well, like, playing on my main is boring. There's like, you wait for 25 minutes to play against people, but at the end of the day, the outcome is nothing. You don't do anything. Like, there's no physical progress being made. You can look at Agora and say, oh, well, you're getting Elo and Agora. But, like, honestly, I don't really care about Elo and Agora. The only time I put it in titles or I mention it is because people keep going on about it in the comment section. Honestly, I couldn't care less. If I was bronze, silver, gold, or even masters, like, Elo would be irrelevant to me. I just think that with ranked, you give people a purpose. You give a reason for people to keep coming back. There's something to strive for, and I think once Epic realize that and, you know, release rank, they'll definitely see higher player retention because people want to climb ladders, people want to achieve, you know, people want to get better, and they need some form of validation that that's happening, and you don't get that in Paragon at the moment. A lot of people don't even know that Agora.gg exists. Most times when I mention Elo in a video, a lot of the comments are like, "What's Agora? What's Elo?" People don't know. So I feel like if Epic introduced ranked, you would automatically see higher player retention. If Epic, a lot of people say that, you know, the fundamentals of the gameplay need changing. No, I think the game is in a good state. The game is enjoyable. We just need content, new heroes, more diverse heroes that have more interesting kits, rework the older ones, and I think the game is going to thrive. But it is down to Epic and their decision making, and I think now more than ever, the choices they make are going to shape this game, or they're going to decide if this game has a future or not. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know what you think of the patch. I think it's, like I said, I think it's okay. And I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks to see what Epic have up their sleeve, and I really think ranked is the answer to a lot of these problems, as well as releasing new heroes, new cards, new gems, because we know they've got cards and gems ready. It's just a matter of time. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe for all the latest Paragon content, and until next time, guys, peace.